Welcome to a little recap of ARL Season 3 Round 20 in Melbourne. Now we are looking at a dry qualifying and a dry race, and we are starting today with the perspective of the Ferrari for real life reasons. It is today on the 1st of February 2024, just a couple of hours after the real life ARL event, that news in real Formula 1 are going topsy-turvy. It seems as if this car that we are looking at right now might in the year 2025 be driven not only by Charles Leclerc but also by a certain Lewis Hamilton, if the rumors in real life are to be believed. As by tonight, we do know that Lewis Hamilton will only continue for Mercedes in 2024, yet it has not yet been confirmed that he will in fact drive for Ferrari in 2025. So at this moment, we leave the real life news and we go to the virtual world where ARL belongs.
Dadelijk met de race gebeurd. Omdat gewoon heel sector 2 is een beetje vol gas, helft van sector 3 is vol gas, of sector 1 ook.
I was telling in front that we are doing a recap here, so this is gonna be a bit of a best of session. Which means I'm going to use the first couple of minutes to have a look at the wonderful Albert Park, the location which I visited myself for the race earlier this year, the race which of course went into Formula 1 history for the first race ever with 3 red flags. Now, ARL in its history has never had a red flag. Of course, season 1 and 2 it wasn't possible because it was not included in the game, but who knows? Maybe Melbourne will be the place where ARL faces the first red flag in one of their races. Certainly, it is of no surprise that it is Australia where this happened in real life because, well, despite the fact that the games categorize this circuit as easy, it is anything but in reality.
Good luck. Ik zit nog steeds op lead.
Let's have a look at the lap.
Dat is niet handig. Nu niet meer.
The difficulty start here already. Corner 1. Very, very easy to get wrong. Corner 2 directly behind. Going in direction of Sports Center. Turn 3. Amazingly small grandstand behind. And apparently another possibility to invalidate the lap. Here. This sector has always been fast, but this corner now has been made even faster. In 2021, the race was held in the end, so it debuted in 2022. We have the championship leader leaving the session, the Ferrari leaving a couple of cars through because his lap is invalidated, and here we come along the drive, along the wonderful lake in Albert Park. This place, famous for its spectacular records of the cars going through at the chicane at over 200 kilometers an hour. And here we get into the last sector. The corner here has been made more difficult again in the new version because it is tighter now, and it's very difficult to find the right line, the right gear. It takes many laps. The lap times apparently haven't changed much. In F1 22, a high 17, low 18 was good for front starting position, and it seems to be the same case in F1 23. Hedgehog going for first pole position like time. Now then, let's see if our Ferrari driver gets the second round correct, or his second lap. Some yellow flags. As I said, the circuit looks easy, but it's anything but easy. You can get almost every corner horribly wrong. This one here is particularly crazy. you have to kind of anticipate it while driving. You can't drive it reactively, you have to drive it proactively, almost half blind. And just trust in the car, trust in the balance. It's a tricky one. And here you never know. Well, fifth gear is a bit of a rarity for me. I was taking it in 7th in F1 22 at the end, but everyone to his style.
Ja, dat is te laat.
This is a bit much curb. Not sure if he was influenced by the Alpine on that or not. I hope not. This corner here, very difficult to get out of. Very easy to overshoot.
Dat was een oké ronde. Als hij niet meer
start finish line.
was een half seconde sneller geweest.
Now let's have a look at our second stream of the day. Rickard, let's synchronize the two. 12 minutes left here. 8 minutes, a bit much. 13 minutes. So.
But yeah, I think I'll go back to 34.
Radio Aston Martin is on as usual. The communication between Rickard and Don Bosco. We're just thinking about which wing setting is best. Now, let's have a look at where qualifying stands after the first runs.
I forgot to record in case of I need to record someone.
To the speed trap, 322.3 kilometers per hour.
We cannot see.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, let's go some minutes ahead. After all, qualifying is important, but not the most important on this track. Season 1 race was won by the speaking person who did not get pole position. So it's a nice to have, but not a must have on this circuit. At least it doesn't rain this time, that's already good, because it did rain a lot in season 1 and that was making it very, very difficult, but we all enjoy a challenge. Now, Rickard is here in preparation for his last lap. He's looking to improve P6 on the starting grid. We have a first timer called Lizard. If you know the recent Formula 1 history, of course, the name carries with it the risk of the joke that he should have made his debut in Singapore. But then you know, Australia is very well known for its richness of animals, so to welcome a lizard to ARL in Australia also has its sense. Now let's have a look at how Rickard deals with the lap. 5th gear in the first corner, that sounds good. When you're most confident you can try it in 6th gear, but it depends on the driving style too. 3rd gear for this corner is good. Yes, short shift for this one makes a lot of sense. We have the yellow flag, there is a Haas somewhere ahead. Seems to be out of the way. He's also using 5th gear for this fast corner. I'm surprised by that, because I'm not sure you can gain as much momentum as you lose when shifting down, but at least he's improving his lap time. We have 16 qualifiers, but as I already know, the race will be started by 18 persons, so maybe someone's trying to do a last to first challenge. Could be our current championship leader. Who knows? Rickard's still on his way to improvement, a little less than 2/10 better. Is it better driving? Is it warmer track? Is it more rubber on it? We don't know, but it doesn't matter. As long as he keeps improving, well, the improvement is reducing a bit, but it's still an improvement. And it brings him to P2. So, looks very tight. 1/10 from P5 or P6 to P2. We have Hatchet currently on pole. He has won 100% race on this track in F1 2021. And qualifying has 1 minute left in Rickard's stream. Let's have a look at the Ferrari, where he is. He has 8 minutes left. Let's try to synchronize. 5 minutes left. Where will the Ferrari be with 1 minute left? He's touring around.
Kijk, ik deed het toen omdat ik het wel lachen vond en ik sowieso niet
He
up
has
to pace was om
100%,
mee
so
te rijden
he
zonder
still
lijn
has
controle.
time
Daarom
to
deed ik het toen.
do one fast lap at the very end. But he's got to be careful with the timing. Well, 1 minute should be more than enough for the final
Hij
sector.
gaat links! Zo, dat is leuk. Ik kon
A
daar
little bit
ook.
of sliding, yeah, the curbs can be very aggressive. Now leave enough space to the guy in front.
Nee, zit hij niet.
This last corner is also incredibly difficult. There are more ways to get it wrong than to get it right.
Ja, daarom.
He's going down to 4th gear in the first corner. That looks very careful or conservative, but he does shift up to 8th out of turn 3. Second gear is really going for the low gears here. You can see it's an entirely different driving style than Rickard. This corner also down in 5th, but still.
Fuck.
Ah yeah, and there is the invalidation. Okay, so let's make sure that the two are properly synchronized. Here on Rickard's stream we do have 1:17.5 for the baby Drew, who put himself into pole position. Only Brizin can still improve, and he did just about that. We have very tight, a very tight grid. 1 second covers the first 11, but it's not 1 second, but 7.5 tenths. Max Duca in P10, that is a rather silent position for him who has won Melbourne in Season 2, but of course that was still in F1 22. So then, that looks promising for a very interesting race. 2 tenths between the first 6. Wow, that is quite impressive. We are still searching for a start. Here we have a little look at the possible strategies that the game proposes. No surprises. Melbourne, many fast corners, either medium hard or hard medium. I wouldn't necessarily choose this. The pit lane is very, very slow. So they're both around choosing pit strategy. That's good. Ferrari looking towards hard medium. Rickard looking towards medium hard. Both looks equally fine. The question will of course be which strategy is the better one in adaptation to safety cars and other things. 1 more second, then it is synchronized. Yes. So we have Rickard in row 2. We're going to have a look at the start from his point of view. No formation up as usual. So, a nice warm arbo from Melbourne. We wish you, and good luck. The first 3 are starting on mediums. That should give them an advantage on Jumbo. 13 edge already passed Jumbo. Always fast starter, that guy. And the baby Drew has messed up the braking zone in turn 1. He's lost his pole position advantage. Hatchet goes into P1, Ricker takes P2. Jumbo tries on the baby Drew but doesn't do it. Might even fall back behind 13 edge again. Does so indeed. The field on the minimap looks not entirely together. There is an Alpine at the very back. The Ferraris are in the middle of the field. First time down the backside drive. We have Rickard using a little bit of earth, but at the same time there is no need to push it. They have the same tires. One pit stop to come. Just be safe. Make sure you have no infringements, no warnings, because usually at the end of this race some people will have warnings. It is absolutely mandatory to stay out of penalties if you want to have a good race. Here, for me, once there was a championship decided on 6 seconds of penalties here. The leader crossed the finish line 4.5 seconds in front of me, but he had 6 seconds of penalties, and as a result I won the race in the championship. Rickard does seem very racy though, but still, with the care of a known race winner, who knows that lap 2 is a nice number, but not a decisive number in any case, particularly not in a circuit with 4 ERS phases. We have 2, one on the finish straight, one on the first straight up to turn 3, the third one is here, will be activated in the next lap, all the way down with a lot of nice maneuvers from Sergio Perez, and the 4th DRS zone is coming up here in this bit. So Rickard will have more than enough possibilities to pass Hatchet in the coming 27 laps. Now, there is a little bit of a spread. Baby Drew is currently out of the DRS window of Rickard, but the first 2 DRS zones are not yet going to be activated in lap 3. Only from the 3rd DRS zone there will be DRS available. So at this moment, even though he is within a second, he cannot yet activate it, and the Baby Drew has about 15 seconds left to get into 1 second of Rickard. Otherwise, he will not have the benefit of the drag reduction system. Here is the end of the first sector and the measuring of the first DRS detection. Rickard is definitely within range, but the Baby Drew is not within range, so that might cost the Baby Drew another place or 2. Here we have the beep. Rickard has it activated and closes steadily on Hatchet. Of course, despite the existence of the DRS zones, they are not so long that it does make overtaking too easy. So it is a help, but it's not an automatic overtake. And of course, as usual, the car in front has the clean air and the car behind has the dirty air, which makes it difficult to really get close. As you see here, Rickard struggling a bit behind Hatchet. Let's have a look at the Ferrari. He is also starting lap 4. Sound has to be switched. And did we see something at the end of turn 1? Well, we still have 18 drivers on. So, might have been a spin. There is someone at the pit lane that looks like a Red Bull. I'm not quite sure who or what that is. And we have the first retirement. Slayer is out of the race. Here we see the dot is not moving anymore. It is exactly at the end of the first sector. There is a Ferrari involved, but it is the other Ferrari of Danny that seems rather stationary there, but Danny continues this
gaan we maar, we
race.
kunnen kijken. Ik weet niet, zo.
Lap 4, of course, too early to pit. Everyone will stay on their tires because no one has started on the soft.
Medium softs.
So, as a result, we can go ahead to the end of lap 7. Safety car in this lap. Hedgett is in the lead. Rickard P2, 13 Edge P3. He did indeed pass the baby Drew in his first DRS lap.
Careful on the last corner, mate, not to spin out.
Yeah.
Short shit, will be tricky.
Let's get the Ferrari up to that place as well. Now, whilst we hear Hedgett and Rickard accelerating already, the Ferrari is still in the lap. Sorry for that, but he will be there. So, there we go. Now they're more or less on the same spot again. 13 Edge in P3, looking very good for AlphaTauri. Although not true. Hedgett is a standard driver for AlphaTauri, but 13 Edge is replacing A-Lord today. Jumbo is holding on reasonably well on his hard tires. Might be promising for the rest of the race. Now, of course, at this moment we are again in the fate of the race, just after the safety car, where there is no DRS, which makes overtaking even more difficult. As a result, I would not expect too much action from the front, but maybe something at the back. Oh! We have another safety car. The Ferrari is in the pits already.
Yeah, same. There's enough space between us.
Slayer has left the session, yes, but that was the first safety car. That cannot be that. The Ferrari is changing on medium tires.
What? You're ghosting behind me?
20 laps is a bit of a gamble on that, but the hard tires make just the right gamble. And in fact, Rickard has gone onto the hard tires. But, true, the ones that started on the hard tires to change in lap 9 onto the medium,
Yeah, but easy.
difficult.
Easy, we can finish on the hards.
Yes, I agree with Don Bosco here. So, lap 9, second safety car. This one will take again 2 or 3 laps to go on. End of lap 10, safety car in. And now we have the situation that the persons who were leading before are either still leading, like Hedgett, or in the middle of the pack, like Rickard, who will have taken the right decision. We don't know. So then, lap 11, next restart. The Alpine of Blizzard taking not very advantageous line in the first corners. Rickard attacking. Will he make it around the outside? He does. Spectacular. Wow. Respect to those two drivers. Even Kubica and Vettel did not manage that in 2009. So, very well done indeed. Now, as I said before about Max Duca being rather colourless in qualifying with P10, it also appears a rather colourless race so far of our runaway championship leader. We have more than a third of the race gone already, and Chris is in P7. And he might not even yet have made a pit stop. So is he a bit under the radar today? Does he want to give other people a chance to lead or even to win, or is he just biding his time? Well, after 2 safety cars, we might be on for the rest of the race in 1 round.
Man, this lizard.
Oh no, we are not, or are we? There was another yellow flag and we have a virtual
Negative, which means you're going too fast. Reduce your pace.
I'm disqualified of the session, man. What the fuck is
Why
this
is
shit?
it an illegal overtake?
Now let's look at the back. What happened here? Do we see anything? Ferrari is a few seconds behind.
Not my fault this time.
Okay, we've been informed due to increasing risks, they're moving from a virtual to a full safety.
And we have a full safety car instead of virtual. So let's see if we catch up anything here with the Ferrari. We see a duel here in front. We see Bosco ahead.
Battle je best wel voor.
The penultimate corner is a difficult one. Oh,
Er staan hier 3 bij.
I see a lot of action, but everything is still working. Oh, there is some contact there.
Oh,
And
ja,
oei!
kut.
Don't worry about the damage. I've got some new strategy
For
options
fuck's
if you go too
sakes.
messy. There's been an incident on
Die
track.
gast die spint midden in de fucking
And what
bocht.
was that? Bosco has been disqualified. Van Cadillac is out of the session.
Ja, dat.
Speed immediately and
Well, that's quite a pile-up. Well, we didn't have that kind of pile-up in real Melbourne. I can vouch for that because I was sitting right in the grandstand that would have been looking at that incident. And we have our third safety car of the day
okay, slow
with
down, slow down. Your delta's negative, which means
with
you're
2
going too
people
fast.
falling
Reduce your
victim
pace.
of the last corner.
Ja, maar dan nog. Dat is wel...
Lap 14, safety car in this lap, last sector for the Ferrari, and
Wel.
the same will be true
Wat een fan.
for Rickert as well. Where are we? Lap
Ik hou
14.
netjes afstand en hij doet net alsof het karten is, joh.
Come.
Ja, echt mooi.
You're not supposed to be so slow.
Oh my god, in plaats van dat hij afstand houdt. En als jij remt, dan rem ik ook heel laat.
So, this is a very strange behavior considering that the stream is already 1 day old. Must have had some kind of streaming issue. There's not a lot of picture here, not a lot of moving pictures. Lap 14. So, we've had more pitters, but... And we have 13 Edge in the lead, Jim Wong in P2. Hedgehog must have pitted and he has lost his position to Rickert. Rickert will certainly not pit again.
Okay.
So it's looking good for Rickert because I think 13 Edge tires might not make it to the end. What we don't know yet is Jim Wong's strategy. The baby Drew is fast, we know that, he was on pole, so Rickert might have some good pressure from behind. Let's see how long it takes until the 4th safety car, if there is something like that, or even if we do get a red flag. After all, we have a beautiful duel between the 2 leaders, Jim Wong trying his best to get past 13 Edge. And staying very much on it through the first sector. To go on different lines there is not usually very advisable, but he's definitely doing his best to irritate the Swede. So far the Swede stands his ground, no DRS in this lap. Hedgehog has the fastest lap so far and is back in the top 5. And Jim Wong does a Perez. Wow! Do they touch? Well, if they do, they manage it very well. No one's flying out. Is that a return attack from 13 Edge? It is, but unsuccessful one. Can Rickert go through? He can. Ooh, sad lap for 13 Edge, and we have another out. Reifler is out of the session. Let's see if the Ferrari catches anything of that.
En die rijdt.
will be lap 15.
Okay, good work. Great pass.
Echt, mijn hart klopt in mijn keel als ik die vent voorbij moet rijden, jongen. Holy fuck.
Well, the guys behind him must have lower wings than him. Oh,
ja, bij
he's
mij ook.
being
Ik ga side by side met Sam hier doorheen. Godsalle jezus.
They all survive. But where will what happen to Rifler?
What the fuck was dat?
There is something.
What
There
the
is
fuck was dat?
a part of a car.
Wie deed daar een fucking Alonso? Fucking Alonso moment.
But I see nothing.
Ik blijf lekker buiten, joh.
Lewis is going into the pit, so whatever happened to Rifler must have happened behind
Ja, safety car, hè?
the Ferrari. We see
Zag je
Vertinec
waar
going
die
into
vent
the
helemaal
pits.
heen ging?
And we also notice lots of persons have penalties. So we are at lap 16
Nou,
and we have our 4th safety car, which means that until now
maar
more
ik
than
weet niet,
50%
nee,
of
is
the
wel goed
race
voor je te-
have been held behind the safety car. That is, to call it typical Swiss neutral, remarkable. And to be quite frank, it is not entirely understandable, because the second safety car was not caused by anything that I could have noticed. There was the name Pan Cadillac dropping there, and but he was definitely still in the race, because otherwise he could not have been involved in the incident in the last corner. So, yeah, interesting stuff. Hedger is going to the pits again. He's going back to the mediums. He's not the only one in the pits. He's got good company there, but it's a bit difficult to follow from Rickert. Let's see if the Ferrari catches up. He is looking towards the end of lap 16. His tires are good. Should go to the end. Maybe we can observe from his position who else went into the pits. There is certainly at least one other car in the pits. Let's have a look. Whom do we catch pitting? Yes, Hedgett. No, it's only that one. So apparently Hedgett must be on quite the challenge. He's almost at the end of the field. But it might be an inspired choice, because the rest of the field is on older tires and he is on newer tires. And as we can see at the leaders here in lap 17, we have a lot of penalties already. Although if we look closely, there are also 5-second penalties, yet we do not know where they came from. Sometimes in the past, 5-second penalties could have been removed at the end of the race, because maybe they were unjustified. Maybe the game was a bit too generous with handing out penalties. But of course, if it was the pit lane entry, there is nothing that can be done about it except sit it off at the next pit stop or have it added to your total race time. But we are still far from the point where the penalties matter. The race is at around 60%, so no worries, mates, and on we go. Jim Wong got a super restart, almost out of Rickert's DRS zone already. That was a very tight line through the first two corners. I was surprised that there was no warning in that. Now let's see how long this time the face of green flag racing lasts. We have 12 laps to go, including this one. Rickard has used quite some of his battery to stay within the DRS range of Jim Wong. Seems a reasonable investment, but he shouldn't go much further. Now he's almost too close, so maybe he has used a bit too much battery to stay with him, but better safe than sorry. Oh, now Jim Wong has a slide. And we see that the field has been reduced from 18 to 14 drivers. So let's recap. First one to leave the race was Slayer. Then we had Pan Cadillac and Don Bosco. Don Bosco, I believe, was disqualified because he was trying to U-turn in the wrong direction. And at the end there was Reifler, who did not make any points. And finally, we have the championship leader coming up amongst the race leaders. He is on the softer tires, he's on the mediums, like Jumbo, but also he has picked up a 5-second penalty. Circumstances are as yet unknown, but there might be quite a mortgage on the rest of his race, as the Swiss say. Lizard is out of the session, but we have no safety car notification. I also don't see his car anywhere. I think Lizard was in Alpine. Or maybe the game is just slow.
Behind has got a time penalty from the stewards. Don't fight them on track for position. We don't want anything to go wrong here. There's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful. DRS has been enabled.
So at this moment Rickard is in prime position to win. We have no further safety car yet. We have DRS enabled. The usual stuff. In the first sector it cannot yet be used. But if Rickard stays in this distance to Jim Wong, he has a good chance of attacking him over the next 1, 2, 3 laps. Here comes the beep. And he's also got to be careful of Jim Wong behind. Front three are very close. We have another DRS zone, but positions seem to remain unchanged at this very moment. And we are coming towards the end of lap 20. Now, of course, Jim Wong has demonstrated the skills of Sergio Perez. Let's see if Rickard could show the skills of Sergio Perez to Jim Wong. That would not be here, but later in a lap. He's certainly lining him up. We have a new fastest lap from Lewis, also known as F1 Senna in this game. First two DRS zones are gone. Jumbo and the Baby Drew are both... No, that's not the Baby Drew, sorry, that's Chris. They're both attacking Rickard, but not yet getting past. So maybe our championship leader is having a sniff at the race lead after all. Now the two fast DRS zones begin.
Driver behind.
Okay, the gap is less than a second. They're on old medium.
He's gaining, he's gaining, he's gaining. Outside, outside. And he does a Perez on Wong. Does Wong return the favor? He certainly wants to. Does Chris return the favor? Chris being blocked, does that open the inside for Wong? No, whoa. The order stays the same between the lead quartet for the time being. But next DRS zone coming up very fast. Ferdinand is climbing up the order again. Rickard seems to be in the quiet for the moment, so let's have a look at how it looks from the point of view of Ferrari. Ferrari was lying in P5. Didn't spot that before, but he is going to be overtaken by 13 Edge rather soon. We know that from the standings. And here it happens.
Ik laat iedereen er gewoon langs die sneller is.
And Headset on mediums is also catching, so both Alpha Tauris are on the way up. Ferrari is also on mediums.
Rick leidt de race trouwens.
So,
helemaal niet geoefend hè, die vent.
Two fast guys behind the Ferrari. And a lot of duels in front of him. Will everybody survive? Duels in the first corner are always very difficult here in Melbourne.
Ja, damage.
No.
Maar ik blijf buiten, nog 7
no spinner yet.
Mediums echt wat te doen.
Dual turn continues into turn 3.
Haas zonder ERS hier.
Still everybody keeps in the black stuff, admirable. Mate, fourth gear is too low for that corner, but maybe with controller it must be that. Speaking of controller, of course, it's not only the real Formula 1 that makes headlines, but also the virtual one, whilst F1 Senna, aka Louis, passes the former streamer. Now, the news from the virtual world is that the Fanatec company, of which our former streamer has made an order, is currently managing to annoy many of their customers by taking the prepaid money and not apparently doing anything with it, or delaying their deliveries for very long. Sad, sad. Now, what else is there to be seen? So, Headset is now closing in on the former streamer in his Ferrari. That is the former streamer in the Ferrari, not Headset. Headset is in the Alpha Tauri. Currently in P8 with 7 laps to go. 6.5 laps at this point. Also, our former streamer has picked up some penalties, but he is in very good company with that.
Banden 30%, dat is wat te doen.
Headset already up to 3/10. Might be an attack coming soon. Well, not necessary. Ah, well, don't we all know how to hate that corner? Ah, yes. Many of my fast laps in Melbourne have ended at that point as well. I know your pain, mate. So then, back to the front. And the championship leader has gone into the leading positions. Rickard is trying to get it back. He does not need to overtake on track if Chris keeps his 5-second penalty. The field is spreading. We have the baby through quite some distance. We have a spin outside of the fast chicane, but it is not the spin of the Ferrari that we witnessed before. It's another car. Tone of blue looks like Alpha Tauri could be 13 Edge who had a spin there.
Less than a second separates you. They're on old mediums. Time last lap was a 1 minute 20.6.
So, Rickard looking in prime position. Headset having come up to P4. Passing Jim Wong on younger, softer tires. Headset looking good on that one. But he's got a little bit more than 3 seconds to gain on Rickard and a little more than 4 seconds to gain on a leader. At least on track. Headset at the moment is one of 2 drivers without any penalties, so in fact he only has to gain 1 second. No, in fact on the leader he doesn't have to gain anything, he's already within the window.
No, what I'm doing. Okay, now now it's over.
So 5 laps to go, including this one. The front is close together. Lewis has worked his way up P3. Very impressive. Didn't see that coming at the race start. Max Duca is still being in a reasonably modest position. Let's see if Lewis attacks on Rickard. Well, he certainly tries to.
Fuck off, Senna. Don't push me wide. Come on, man.
Tight stuff. Ooh, almost spin. As I told you, almost every corner Melbourne can catch you out. It is really not understandable how the game programmers came to the conclusion that this circuit was easy, because in fact it really is not. So at this very moment it seems as if Chris, Hedgett and Rickard would be the 3 podium visitors. But not in that order, because Rickard looks still in prime position to win. He's got 5 seconds on Chris, but is only 4 tenths behind.
Yeesh, anyone crashing? Maybe 2.
Now it gets made a bit more complicated, because Lewis is getting in the middle. Question is for how long. Is he using battery? Well, he doesn't have much battery left. That's unusual. And he stays on 3rd position on track, but still leading
Tires are gone.
Netto. And after all, well, the recap was not such a small recap. We are already at 47 minutes, so the race was entertaining nevertheless. Together with the qualifying, we will save some minutes in comparison with the full stream. That would have been about 10 minutes longer. And now the question is, will Rickard and Hedgett manage to stay in range with the leaders? The leaders are starting to battle amongst themselves. Of course, Lewis being the first one with DRS, whilst Chris does not have it, having entered the lap as leader. We have a pass for the lead on track. Rickard is staying in the DRS zone. Hedgett is currently out of DRS of Rickard, but trying to gain. Ooh, what was?
Oh, damn it, so straight.
Oh, that was a shame. Now Rickard is also amongst the penalized persons. He must have had 2 prior warnings, or otherwise the game has had a malfunction, because it couldn't give 3 warnings only on that incident alone. So now let's have a look at the penalty situation closely. Yes, Chris has 5 and Lewis has 3 and Rickard has 3. So Rickard needs to pass Lewis, but that makes... Wow, we have the championship leader making a mistake in the last sector. And suddenly it appears to be Hedgett in prime position, and it's only 1 lap left, so we have Lewis in front, no DRS. Rickard gaining with DRS on Lewis, needs to beat Lewis on track to be ahead of him in the results. Hedgett on P4, less than 3 seconds behind the leader. He would win at this very moment if he just stays where he is.
Your last lap time was 1 minute 21.8. Okay, so you're gaining by 1/10
Ooh, Rickard's tires look in bad shape. He's losing hand over fist to Lewis. So if the penalties stay as they are, the podium would be Hedget, Lewis and Rickard. Or does the championship leader have to say anything about that?
Not a fast lap for me.
Now the championship leader is closing in on Lewis again, filling the gap that previously Rickard almost opened, and we have another slide in the last sector, and it's getting ever closer, and that must certainly seal it for Hedget, and certainly too for the championship leader because of +5. So we have Hedget, Lewis and Rickard on the podium if my calculations are correct. And there we go, and they turn out to be correct. Now, Brizin has just overtaken 13th Jin Wong, probably also on penalties. We have the baby Drew not converting his pole position in the style he would have wanted. We have the former streamer in the points. Max Duca taking home 1 point.
I was trying for the first lap, man, but I need to go 10 times on my brake pedal.
Well, that was definitely an entertaining race. And a variety of strategies, and I must say I didn't see Hedget's strategy being a winning strategy, but it turned out to be just that. Also thanks to penalties, but well, maybe the softer tires helped him avoid the penalties, so all is well that ends well. Let's have a look at the final standings. Yes, Hedget does not cross the line first, but wins the race. Lewis, aka Senna, P2, Rickard P3, Chris P4, Prison P5, 13H P6, Jim Wong P7, the baby Drew P8, Castle, Milan P9, Max Duga P10, Danny, Sam, and Jumbo behind. Blizzard has not done all the laps, and the last 4 to be repeated once again. Rifler, Pan Cadillac, Don Bosco, and Slayer. Thanks for looking, watching, staying with ARL in Down Under. We have a new winner again, and that makes season 3 that nice little bit more colorful. Thanks to all involved. The fastest lap of the race going to Max Duca. I'm not sure what his tire strategy was, but his fastest lap was a good second, better than anyone else. Might have been a late charge on softs, and that gives him an additional point. Well, thanks for watching, and see you back in action next week. Good day, mates. Good night, mates. Bye-bye.